Welcome to our next segment of Seniorities. I'm J.D. Miller, Chairman of the Board of the Council on Aging. I have with me, as always, running the show, Linda Hayes, the Executive Director of the Senior Center. And we want to move into some current events and lots of stuff that's going on in the community right now. So I'm going to immediately pass the baton over to Linda, because I know you've got some stuff you want to make sure people know about in terms of timely dates that are beginning to start to encroach on us as we move into November, December holidays, et cetera. So,
Exactly.
Linda.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and glad to be here again, speaking to you. We do have a busy November and December months roll on, as you know, and we schedule a bit in advance, but this particular period is important. I wanted to start with the Medicare open enrollment period, Medicare Part D open enrollment period, which began October 15th and runs until December 7th. So to that end, many of you may know and have taken advantage of our fabulous Shine counselor, volunteer Shine counselor, Norman Tetro, and as well Jenny Gerbis, our outreach coordinator, both of whom will be presenting this Wednesday, November 8th at the Senior Center, 10:30 in the morning, the sort of one-time informational session for everyone that wants to consider or should consider any changes to their Part D prescription or Medicare Advantage plans. Every year, they are to be looked at and considered for changes to make sure the plan still meets your needs for the coming year, whether it's medications that need to be purchased for the year or other supplemental programs at the lowest available cost. So to that end, because there are so many people to consider, there aren't one-on-one sessions for, in the past, maybe Norman to consider you individually, but for everyone to convene at the Senior Center, hear the presentation, hear about changes or available programs, and then you will have the opportunity to complete the pre-enrollment form, either bring your medications or bring a list of your medications to add to that form, and then Norman and often Jenny will take the time later to do the searches necessary and try to make the match for you to find what might be the best program. It could be the same, it could be something new and different for you.
So now let me hop in here. If I'm new to Part D, Medicare Part D, that's an initial enrollment for me. If I was enrolled last year, or I've been enrolled for the last 5 years, I've still got to come in and
You've still got to come.
re-sign in,
You still should
right?
come in. It's
Okay.
recommended. I believe people get a letter to this effect
Okay.
prior to the enrollment period, but every year they encourage, because things do change
Things
with the
change.
plans
Sure.
themselves,
Sure.
or on the pharmacy end, or on
Sure.
the prescription drug end, so the costs do change.
Yeah, okay.
And they have been able to save people an awful lot of money doing the searches anew
Yeah.
each period.
So if you're new, you need to come in and sign up. If you're re-upping, you still benefit by coming in and double checking things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
take advantage. Norman, as a volunteer, comes to us 4 times a month. Those appointments can be made by calling the Senior Center, of course, but for this purpose, because the numbers are great
Yeah.
anyway, they can't do that one-on-one. Otherwise, do call if you have any questions. And also, just to
And that
mention,
meeting is next Wednesday.
that is Wednesday, November 8th,
Time?
and 10:30.
Okay.
And SCTV will be videotaping that for us to then run on cable. So if you're watching now and you're not able to make it, then you can expect that will be available for you to glean information from the presentation if you're able to tune in to cable.
Okay, good.
And then because our newsletter is complete and has just gone out this past week, it's now November. So I wanted to take the opportunity to highlight a few of the upcoming events or more, because we do have a lot going on that we're proud of course. So moving into, again, the same week, a lot seems to be happening the week of November 6th, 7th, 8th. So we have our men's breakfast, which we do most months, had been on Monday mornings, but we've moved it to Tuesday mornings, the first Tuesday of the month, always at 9 a.m. at Widows Walk, North River Grill. And this coming men's breakfast, November 7th, is our newest selectman for Scituate, Karen Canfield, who graciously agreed to come and talk, as if she's not busy enough with what they're called upon to do every week, in addition to their biweekly evening meetings. But we're happy to have her and look forward to her updates on local issues, probably a little about her background, and hopes for the future for the many interests in town, including, of course, a new senior center. Also in December 5th, that Tuesday morning, Chief of Police, our Police Chief Mike Stewart, is coming to update attendees on how the force has adapted to their new building location, and also thought it would be interesting strides they have made and continue to make, of course, in combating the opioid crisis here in Scituate. And anything else, really, he's always very pleased to be able to share with our visitors what the police force is doing, capable of doing, and can be continuing to do for the community.
So what date was that?
December 5th.
Oh, December. Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay.
November 7th for Karen,
Okay.
December 5th for
Okay.
Chief Stewart.
December. Yeah, I thought I
So,
heard November, so I was wondering.
The 2 dates to look forward to, and do call for reservations so we have enough breakfast. $8 for the breakfast at North River Grill. Well worth it. Also coming up in November and starting November 8th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we make good use of our room at the Senior Center. So we have a lifelong learning class or classes at this time with Bob Jackman, who's a prolific teacher, leader, instructor, and provides us with this constantly evolving series of topics on a variety of local historical subjects, all entertaining, informative, and enjoyable. So coming up this time for him is what he's calling Crafts and Wares Produced in Early Scituate. So the story of
nice.
American antiques,
Nice.
with the history of the craftspeople who created them, including local Scituate craftsmen in the 17th to the 19th
Wow.
centuries. So he's delving into that period, which he often does, and finding really new and interesting topics relevant to Scituate often.
I mean, really local history.
Really local history. And
Who was doing what way back then?
people
Yeah.
do love it. So it's a 6-week course for $20. We try not to turn anyone away, but do call, obviously, to sign up and register. And really, on the coattails of that, I would almost suggest, so we love Bob, and Bob has been great because he seems to be able to just sustain us in terms of lifelong learning. But, of course, we'd love to offer more. And I would encourage anyone in Scituate who has a particular interest or expertise or subject area that they want to share with our visitors in our community, that they maybe call and inquire about maybe becoming a leader or facilitator for a lifelong learning class that we could offer, we could provide. We'd love to expand the program and offer as many opportunities for learning and sparking interests as possible, whether music, art, science, government, religion,
If you have an
literature.
interest, if you have a passion,
Right, right. So we're open to them all.
if you have a hobby, there might be all things that
Absolutely, yeah.
might tie into
Yeah.
lifelong
Short
learning.
stories.
Yeah,
You know, we
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
we have a memoir writing. We have an expressive writing activity, which does go week to week. But anything really that provides learning, education, interest, enjoyment, we'd love to have. So think about that.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention, and something you're aware of, also November 8th, now at 3 o'clock. We're moving around. Wednesday's a big day.
Wednesday is a big day.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we are super lucky to have our Scituate High School Interact Club students working with us on a monthly basis, and then some often. But they are the Rotary, Junior Rotary Club here at the high school, and they are providing tech time
Yeah.
for us for an hour every month, sometimes more, but they show up at 3 o'clock, 3 to 4, and our visitors can bring their iPads, smartphones, iPhones, the occasional laptop, and these,
learn how to use it.
And learn
basically.
learn
Yeah.
how to use it. Q&A, maybe apps, applications that you aren't familiar with that you could use. So they're terrific. They're impressive kids, bright, friendly, enthusiastic, and they will work with you one-on-one, answering your questions and helping you to use your devices better, or get to know your devices better. So we hope you will join us, and again, it would be nice to know what we have for number, so if you could call the Senior Center beforehand to sign up, and the number will be displayed, of course, for you to use.
I mean, I would simply add that, of course, anytime we need technical assistance, we call on young people. So.
Often. And they're really happy to do it, and know so much more that
that we don't know.
that we just didn't know we didn't know.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Right.
And so it is fun to watch.
Right.
So we love that, and they are coming monthly, the second Wednesday of the month. So it is, for November, it is November 8th. Also, just to quickly name a few of the cafe talks coming up, we have wonderful, sincere speakers coming to share with our visitors every month their experiences, their knowledge, sometimes information, sometimes hobbies, interests, for our Wednesday morning cafe talk. So we do try to target those Wednesday mornings at 10 or 10:30 for these people to come in with a couple of variations. Starting with, we have our local Scituate teacher, Greg Lassard, coming to share his photography and
right,
amazing images,
Yep.
this time I believe of Acadia National Park, with us. Now that is on a Tuesday, which is the 14th, and I believe, although I have the newsletter with me, I actually did forget what time, because it's got to be after school. It's at 3:30 in the afternoon.
And where?
Because it's at the Senior Center.
Okay.
So we have the technology for him to do a slideshow and present his images, which is beautiful. So we're really lucky to have him coming for us after school, after he's taught all day. So it's at 3:30, which is a little unusual, but something to look forward to. That's on the 14th, as I said. We have a woman who's also local, Margaret Crawford, who's a retired hospice nurse of many years and new author. And she is coming to provide us with a little just description of her experience, that she has loved working as a hospice nurse, and also hoping to dispel some of the myths about hospice and what it is or what it isn't, and just genuinely sharing the love she has had for working in this capacity as a nurse. So we hope everyone will find that interesting. It could be nurses who are interested, and it could be just our senior patrons
Community,
who would
yeah.
like to hear about this story. And she has just written a book herself on this, so she wants to share that. And another local writer and recent author, Marie Fricker, is recounting her experience in diagnosing and surviving a brain tumor. But she has
Wow.
written her book, and it's, you know, it's amusing, it's entertaining. One needs a sense of humor when going through an experience like that. So that is a story, I thought, a true Christmas story. So she is actually presenting the cafe talk to us on December 11th, and that actually does happen to be a Monday, for our book club patrons as well as anyone else who is interested. So we hope many will come to hear her. Kim Bennett, a local social worker for Visiting Angels, she is going to discuss a very interesting topic, the age wave. So sort of the oncoming bubble of baby boomers aging into the systems, and what that means to us, to families, to the community. It's really thought-provoking, and Kim is so knowledgeable, so we hope to see a lot of interest in this topic for December.
It's a bit of a tsunami.
A bit of it, like they do call that, the age tsunami.
There's the population wave is really
Right.
hitting.
And certainly we know in our trying to prepare for that on our end and in our capacity as a senior center and council on aging, but also what other impact does it have?
Yeah, on
and there are several, so-
services, on
Yeah.
you name it,
Yeah.
across the board.
So lots to talk about, and she's a great speaker, and so we hope to see you for that on December 6th. That is a Wednesday at 10:30. So many others of interest too. I could go on, but as I said, you can find our newsletter if you don't get it in the mail, and you always can if you don't. You can just call in and have us add you to that mailing list. We only mail out every other month at this time, but you can come in and pick it up.
And certainly call and add an email address if you have an email.
Add an email. Yeah, that does help. It really does. We do a lot of broadcast phone calls, which people seem to appreciate, to remind sometimes or inform of late breaking news or upcoming events. So if you don't mind that, you can request to be on that list as well, that we create ourselves from people who have come in for other programs. You can always check us out on Facebook, Scituate Council on Aging. You can look us up that way. We're working on our Twitter.
Oh,
A
wow.
little technical difficulties.
We need tech tips for Twitter.
But always
Yep.
the Town of Scituate website. We are under Departments and Council on Aging, but we have a page there with our schedule and reminders and sometimes links to other information. We
You
are,
can find the newsletter online.
yes,
You can call and
Yes.
request and get on the mailing list. You can call and request and get on an email distribution list.
yes. The printer for our newsletters, and we can provide that information, but yes, that is online almost immediately when we send it in, and then it could be a week or 2 weeks later that
Before
we
it
actually
get it in the mailbox.
get it in the
Right.
mailbox.
Yep,
So,
yep, yep.
so you can certainly have all the information you need early. I want to mention one other program that we are soliciting for now, and it's called Seniors Connect, and it's a grant program which we were lucky enough to receive from the Scituate Education Foundation, which is a new nonprofit group in town, helping to support many of the needs the schools might have, as well as the community, and it was very nice of them to reach out and include us in that umbrella. And we are happy to be providing this technology-driven program, which is intergenerational as well. So through their funding, we are able to purchase a set of iPads and covers to be shared by, we're recruiting 12 seniors. The first tier who have completed our Aging Mastery program, which is something that's going on now and has been a 10-week program that we've done each fall for the last now 3 years. The first couple of times we completed about 20 people in the program, and this time we have a smaller number of 10. But they, for 10 weeks, move through different topics that reinforce healthy aging, better habits for making maybe some small changes that help increase longevity and contribute to better aging, healthy aging, and wellness. It's a variety of topics, all of which are really have been interesting, very appreciated. So going out to them first and then opening it up if anyone is interested, but we'll have some training by a professional instructor for 2 or 3 weeks at the Senior Center in December, January, and then moving into one-on-one support with our Interact Club high school students who will actually be matched with the seniors so that they actually develop a relationship where the student is learning and aware of the special interests or needs, whether it's health and wellness related or hobbies, so that they can help to customize that iPad experience and make it easier to use, easier access to the benefits of knowing what resources are out there for people. Whether it's with their health plan,
Yep.
their doctor's offices, whether it's local, being able to put a book on hold at the library, or many other things that we hope.
So Scituate Education Foundation helped fund the purchase of iPads.
Yes.
You're taking names now to start sort of the teaching, the learning, the exploration in December?
Yeah, we think we can take 12
Okay.
people.
So
So
people
there's a
should
limit
just
for
call
now.
in and put the name on the list, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Because if it isn't this time, we assume once we complete this particular, 8 to 10 weeks of this program, we could probably continue to do it.
Right, okay.
Once we have figured that out. So we're hoping seniors will acquire a comfort level with the technology, opportunities for social connection, and access to personal and community resources with the help of the students again, but on a one-on-one basis that, really makes it a little bit
Easier to learn because you got a consistent
easier
teacher,
to learn.
right?
So
Good.
that is much of what I thought you would want to hear for up-and-coming events. But please also read the newsletter because there is much more.
Well, so I'll also hop in with, I know it's on the newsletter, but, and I hate to say that we're gonna move into wintertime weather, but we're
Right.
going to at some point. So there,
Yeah.
through the Council on Aging, there are sand buckets that are delivered
Yes.
to seniors, free of charge by the Interact Club to enable you to put some sand down on your frozen walkway or your steps.
Exactly.
To hopefully build a consistent walking surface so that you avoid slips and falls. That's all free of charge.
Yes.
You just simply need to call in to the Council on Aging and make a request for a sand bucket.
Yes.
We'll tally a list, and eventually the students will kind of gather on a day
They will.
and for a few hours and pick up the sand,
Okay.
put it into the sand bucket, and deliver it to your
With a scoop.
front door.
Yes.
So with a scoop. So anybody who needs that, the de-icing, if you will, that's available through
Yes.
the Council
We
on Aging.
started this last year and have still several buckets
Yeah,
remaining. So
sure.
yes, we hope you take advantage of that, and the kids are wonderful for doing that for us.
Yep, we work with the
Yeah.
Department of Public Works. We've got our own spot over at, to pick up sand. The kids come by and pick up
Yeah.
buckets, load them up, and deliver them.
Sand was determined to be the best idea as opposed to salt. So
Right.
it just helps to, as JD said, just help with the surface and minimizing slips and
Right,
falls.
yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for
You're
remembering
welcome.
that. Good.
I hate to think that we're gonna get frost, but I think we had it the other morning, so, even though today's a nice day.
Even though now it's 70.
Yeah.
It's okay. So
So-
we could move on.
Yeah.
If you want also
Well, so we were gonna,
recap a little bit.
review upcoming events and activities, but we also thought we'd take a few minutes to recap the Board of Selectmen meeting from a week and a half or so ago.
Yes.
That was an open public meeting to discuss and determine at least a location for a new
Yep.
senior building.
So they
community
have made a
building,
selection
whatever we wanna call
of
it.
land at the old Gates School building.
Right.
On that property. Still options to discuss in
Yep.
terms of exactly where, but they have at least made that selection from the others that were put forth to the community, to the board
Right.
of the Council on Aging. We investigated.
Well, we did, again, everything's got some pros and cons. We examined the feasibility sites, and we had an open conversation around pluses and minuses. But, so we at least made a decision on a campus.
On a campus, yes.
Now there's lots of things to be done in terms of where on that campus or how is that campus gonna be reconfigured, but we need to have everyone begin to coalesce their thinking and support around a building on the Gates campus.
Yep, the possibilities
Right.
are good.
Right.
There were specific options
Yep, yeah,
given.
yes. And
Which
we may have some visuals that we can show, but,
we may, I guess, if you wanted to. But the option A that has been sort of, maybe at the top of the list, places the senior
This looks
center
like
building, standalone building, behind the Little Red Schoolhouse, the Historical Society, at the back end of what is currently the soccer field on that site, which
so-
would,
so if you can look at this, so here's the Little Red Schoolhouse,
yes,
to give people a
with an entrance
perspective.
off of Cudworth.
First Parish is out here, Cudworth here, Little Red Schoolhouse here. So option A, that we've at least seen in terms of a diagram, was putting a building sort of adjacent, if you will, to Little Red Schoolhouse here.
Back behind it at the back end
Right.
of the soccer field currently. This particular diagram has the soccer field relocated on the site to the west, I guess that would be. And parking for the senior center would be to the side, well, actually, yes, to the side of the senior center, moving up towards the tennis courts and toward the Gates School building, the old Gates School building. And I believe that's 120 parking spaces they have designated for that. And of course, at this time, it's yet to be determined what will happen specifically with the old Gates building. How much of it will remain, what it will become.
Some of it's coming down. Some of it's got to come down. But and you mentioned no matter what options we're going to discuss, maybe here for a few minutes, all the plans are for A, a standalone building, and B, if we need to move a field, it is not moving a field or displacing a field. It is simply reshaping that field on this campus.
Potentially
That's-
on the campus, but
Yeah.
it could be elsewhere if that's determined to be a better
Yeah.
choice.
But I think all the options were able to simply reshape it on that campus.
Reconfigure.
Yeah. So that's sort of option A is here. I don't know if we happen
We
to
don't have a large-scale version of,
Okay.
the option B that was put forth with the feasibility study had the building
Up
in
top here,
front
right?
of what is currently the C Wing, but the land adjacent to First Parish Road, the side of the building would actually face First Parish Road.
Mm-hmm.
And the front of the building would face the green or the frontage of what is currently Gates School.
Right, so that's sort of
But
top corner.
it's a fairly tight spot, so we,
Again, demolition of some
yeah,
building,
ceiling has to
building
come
parts
down
here.
either way.
That puts that option was to sort of dropping a building down, closer to First Parish Road, right?
So there certainly were some concerns about that. Our feelings have been that it's a bit small of a footprint with parking too far away, because then the parking would be behind Gates School as it stands now. So not ideal, but that is another consideration or option. The third option put forth had actually been done a year and a half ago by a different architect that placed the building more or less still midway on the property behind the Gates School, behind probably what is currently the B Wing,
I want to say here.
to the side of the tennis courts, which remain
Sort of
in all
behind,
of
sort of
the
behind the
options.
tennis courts, which are here. So I want to say.
And then
somewhere in there.
parking would have existed between the current building and the new senior center standalone building, and it would be pretty much in the middle, alongside the tennis courts as well. So many of the options have the parking, substantial parking, depending on what becomes of the building, whether or not some of that parking is shared or how it might be some independent parking and some shared parking still remains to be seen. And frankly, so does the design of both the building, even though we have been working with a draft design,
Yep.
or at least the feasibility study did.
But
That
I want to say
conceive of,
every configuration allowed for and allotted at least a significant amount of parking.
yes. Oh, yeah.
So,
Necessary.
yeah, oh, yeah.
About 100 spaces
Right,
at least.
right. So whether here, whether here, the design configurations all took into account the need for parking and at least provided a certain number that seemed to be
Yep.
appropriate.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
So much remains to be decided, but we are excited about, being at this step, the next step, I guess, and to have the support that we have of the Board of Selectmen and the expertise of the previous committees who have worked on this project, the Building Reuse Committee that spent a year talking about this, the efforts of the Council on Aging Board, and many in the community to help get this done. So we, the staff, as well as the seniors, of course, who currently take advantage of our programming, are looking forward to creating really what could be the hub of activity and services that the community deserves. This is a great central site.
Good central
and we hope
location.
could result in a wonderful campus of activity for seniors to enjoy, and others in the community as well.
There may be traffic patterns that need to be readjusted. We all know that there's a kind of a strange intersection up in this corner that may need to get some help based on traffic flow. But in terms of a central location, in terms of being accessible to town, obviously public transportation.
Yep.
So
a true
Yeah, we-
community asset for Scituate is
Right.
the future Scituate Senior Center.
right. So we know we have a lot more work to do, but we've at least designated a campus location. Now we need to zero in on
Design.
design.
And placement.
Placement, costs,
Yes.
you name it.
Yes.
But,
Board of Selectmen is working on
Right.
that.
good, great. So that, we sort of did that a week and a half or so ago. There'll be ongoing conversations as we move forward, but we're trying to zero in on where to go from here,
Great,
so.
thank you. Good. So,
Anything else so that's sort of the update on the.
That is the update.
On the campus, on the physical
yep.
location, and the board meeting? Anything else on your
No,
current issues?
we're planning our next programs to include Frank Gay, the Executive Director of GATRA, so he will come
Good.
on with us and talk about the transportation options, both publicly for Scituate and through the Senior Center, Council on Aging. that they provide funding for. And then also emergency preparedness, we will talk about the next time.
Unfortunately, winter's coming again.
Unfortunately,
right?
yeah, it's every year.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Very good.
so appreciate your tuning in, thank you.
Anyone has any questions? Call the Council on Aging. To sign up for Medicare, to sign up for
To sign up for
sand buckets,
programs, it is
to-
nice to have registrations and know how many people are coming to our program, so we hope you will.
If you're interested in tech training, if you're interested in the iPad training. Very good. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.